It has probably been the worst start to any chili growing season that I've ever had. And that's mainly down to La Nina and El Nino. And thankfully, this is the final year of that cycle. So hopefully next year, we're going to get back to normal and things will be a lot better and more predictable. This year, there's just no predictability whatsoever. That doesn't say that I haven't had any growth. I have had some decent growth in some places, and it's part of the reason that you'll see I have smaller pots behind me here. Now, I did get asked about this in a few videos recently, why I am growing in such small pots. Now, the reason we do that is because I want to ensure that I get harvests from some of my plants. Look at all the flowers coming through on these smaller plants. Yes, they are smaller, but I am kind of guaranteed to be getting some flowers and also some fruit. So like we can see over here, this is a banana pepper, and I believe that one's a banana pepper as well. You can see big old fruit coming through on here, which if it was in a bigger pot, then you wouldn't be seeing that at all. That is stunning. Look at those leaves. Beautiful. This is Testarossa Orange, so Capsicum chinense. Another very interesting one is this one over here. This is sent in by a viewer, and it is called a Calabrian or Calabrian. And yeah, you can see it over there, from the Calabria region of Italy. Now, the ones that I've looked up online don't look like these little marbles. So it does look a bit different to what I've seen online, but I'll still give them a go. There's another big fruit coming through there. What is this? Mirasol, so another Capsicum annuum. So obviously you expect Capsicum annuum and also Capsicum frutescens to be fruiting a lot sooner than other plants. So the season, we've still got probably 3 months of active growing time, depending on how the season actually goes in terms of weather. So I'm not too worried. I'm pretty sure those plants that we've just seen there will probably double, maybe even triple in size by the end of the season, and we should get a lot more fruit. And if you are crossing chilies like I am, you obviously want to try and get multiple generations in a year. I was hoping to get at least 2 generations this year from my CCLemonPiri, but with the weather being the way it's been, that's not really viable. This over here is my CCLemonPiri. So the leaves still have a little bit of this asymmetry to it, where they're not perfectly symmetrical, but not as much so as the first and second generation. Also, the flowers are far more consistent. If we have a look there, we can see that the flower is green on the inside, 5 petals, and then white on the outside. Beautiful looking and very consistent. You can see there this flower is 5 petal as well. There were some 5 petals, 6 petals, 4 petals even on my first and second generation, but these are definitely stabilizing a bit. This is the CCLemonPiri that's inside Big Chump. Started at exactly the same time, and you can see obviously being in a bigger pot has made it grow bigger, but notice the lack of flowers. I haven't picked any off here, I promise. And that is all down to the pot size. So this year we'll start putting out flowers within the next probably 2 or 3 weeks. And obviously it's going to be a heck of a lot bigger than the one I just showed you. In fact, you can see a couple flowers starting out, but nothing like the one we just saw earlier. Hopefully that example has driven it home how important pot size actually is. If you are growing chilies for the first time and you really want to get a harvest, which, come on, all of us do, then you really want to maybe think about smaller pot size. If you have a shorter season than maybe we do, smaller pot size. If your season isn't long enough, you're not going to get to the point where it's going to produce pods. And even if it does, it might be way too late in the season for those pods to actually ripen up. Go with a smaller pot size, unless you have a much longer season, or maybe you have the strategy of growing a massive plant this year so that you can overwinter it and start from a bigger plant next year. That'll work as well, but yeah, don't rush to go big pot sizes, especially when you're starting out growing. It's just going to lead to disappointment. This plant is just stunning. It is the Flor Morado. It is a Capsicum baccatum. The baccatums tend to have such beautiful flowers, so many different colors, but look at that. That's just a stunning little flower. And lots of fruit coming on it as well. If you are in a colder region, then baccatums are a great option. So are Capsicum pubescens. They just seem to fruit no matter what, and they fruit late into the season. They aren't exactly my favorite tasting chilies, but just for the pure looks alone, I grow them absolutely every year. This one here is unmistakable. It is the Buna Mulata. Stunning chilies and also beautiful flowers. So this one here is Capsicum annuum. It's not typical to have purple flowers for Capsicum annuum. So I mentioned Capsicum pubescens. This one hasn't started putting out any flowers yet, and I know it's Capsicum pubescens because of these furry leaves. Ricotta Costa Rica. The seeds of Capsicum pubescens tend to be black, and the flowers also stunning. You don't normally see this from a Superhot, but this is apparently a Superhot. We'll know for sure when it starts fruiting, but this one here, you normally expect Superhots to grow a little bit shorter. This is the Blood Ghost, it's from Red Dragon. Pretty leaves and good growth, and you can see that it's starting to bush out a little bit at the bottom here. Hopefully the rest of it does the same. We've got some flowers coming through as well, tiny little flowers. We'll see what those fruits are like, but the Blood Ghost looks beautiful in the pictures, so we'll see how this goes. But this could end up being quite a big plant. What is it? Warped Reality. This is one from Chubby's Chillies. You'll be pleased to see that it's doing well. This is a cross that my friend Lewis has created. Chubby's Chillies on Instagram. Go check him out. Yeah, it's doing quite well there. I'm sure Lewis would love to see that update. Let's go take a look at Big Chump, see how the plants in the bigger pots are doing, and also take a look at my monster chili plants. So I've actually got 3 of them this year, and 2 of them are Dorset Nagas, and one of them is a little bit of a surprise, which I won't spoil it just yet. I'll tell you later on in the season. I'll show you the plant, and you can take guesses if you want to try and guess what it is. But I'm looking forward to seeing how big it can actually get. If it gets as big as I think it'll get, maybe I'll switch over to doing that one as the monster plant that I do each year. On this side of the greenhouse, we have all Capsicum chinense. Some of them not doing so great. In fact, this one looked like it was dead just the other day. All the leaves had fallen off, but you can see a lot of new growth coming through, so I'm actually going to leave it. We had a couple like that. There's another one over here. You can see it doesn't look great. You can see all those leaves dropped off, but that growth has come within the last few days when we've had a little bit of sunshine. This is probably the worst of them, but even these are showing some new growth, and I don't want to throw this away. This is a Kangstar Lemon Starburst. Here's another one that's looking a little bit iffy, but with this new growth coming through, you know, it could surprise us later in the season. Let's see this one. Naga Viper Brain, definitely a hot one. We have quite a few Primatales chocolate, gold, red, and I think that's all. And of course the 7-pot Primo, that's looking stunning. Got some flowers coming through. We in fact have some Superhot pods coming through already. So it's a 7-pot bubblegum 7 Naga red. Really interested to see what it looks like, but also I believe it is extremely hot. So I'm sure by the next live stream we will have a ripe pod off of this plant, and I'll be, well, eating it live. When I potted this up, I potted up a little bit too late, so they were already flowering, and I didn't bother taking the flowers off. So you can see that there's not a lot of flowering happening on the upper leaves, the new leaves that have come through since I've potted it up. But obviously a few have got through and turned into fruit. Here's another one that was potted up quite late, so you can see there actually was some fruit on it. After potting up, we had a couple days of extreme sunshine that this did not do well in, but you can see all that new growth coming through. So I'm actually leaving it. As miserable as it looks from afar, if you come up close, you can see that it is recovering. There's another one that all the leaves fell off. This was looking very bare about 3 days ago. All the leaves came off, but still a few coming off. But you can see the new growth on there, lots of new growth, and this should establish itself quite nicely. As long as that root system is good, then we should have a very nice sized plant there. So I had a few like that. Because of this weather going in and out of being cold and then hot, cold and hot, the plants haven't been able to acclimatize as well as they normally would when I take them outside. This is a jalapeno, am I correct? No, it's not, it's a pepper dew. But that's beautiful. Pepper dew is another Baccatum, and I am selling seeds. I've still got some seeds available in the store for these. Stunning plant, and some of the nicest tasting fruit. It's the only Baccatum that I actually really enjoy eating. It tastes amazing pickled, making my mouth water just thinking about it. I am using my Autopot system again this year. At the moment, I'm not feeding because I am using my soil mix, which is very rich. I'm just using plain water from there. We'll start feeding maybe after this water has completely finished, and then we'll do a light feed. And let's turn over to our monsters. This is the 90-litre pot. Over there is the 160-litre pot, and there's a little surprise plant, which is a 60-litre pot. So this here is the Dorset Naga. That's also a Dorset Naga. Might not hit 7 foot with them again this year, but you do what you can do. My surprise monster, we'll see how this one does. Some beautiful big flowers. Look at that. I'll give you some idea of what it might be. These plants, I'm sure they will catch up once that root system gets big enough, but I think again I'll probably put these in here way too late. Don't know that that's going to survive. And these others aren't looking brilliant, but I'll do something a bit different when I start my hydroponics plants next year to try and encourage much bigger root system before I stick them in here. More marigolds again for the hoverflies and ladybugs. Yeah, we've got a lot of fruit coming through. I had a bit of a ant infestation, which is why you see these here. I took the advice of a few of you on a previous video and have mixed in borax with a ton of sugar. Heck of a nest down there, but yeah, I'll have to put some more of this bait down. They seem to eat it all. Lots of dead ants around there, but then this calms down, and then a few weeks later we suddenly have ants. And it seems like flying ants as well. These are wings. We had some down here as well, which have definitely gone. So that's good. Are they all gone? Yeah, there's no ants on this side. So it's just this here. There must be a hell of a nest down there. And a big old fruit on there. Let's see what that is. Criolla de Cochina. That's a capsicum annuum. I don't think I've grown that before. And then this one over here, this is going to be for my big and tall competition. It is one of my spaghetti chilies, and you can see I already have a long one coming through there, but it needs to be a lot longer to compete with you guys. Last year was well over 30 centimeters or 12 inches. So yeah, that's only a baby. We've got to get this plant to grow a lot more. Wow, it's warm in there. The polytunnel seems to really get warmer than the greenhouses, a lot warmer. I'm going to go inside, have a tall glass of water and cool down a bit. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope that your season is going fantastically. Until the next episode, stay spicy.